All right, welcome to our explainer. Today we're tackling a book that honestly did more than just sell millions of copies. It kicked off a whole global movement. We're talking about a book that looks at the whole work, save, retire plan we've all been sold and just tears it apart. So let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with a question that really gets to the core of this whole thing, and I want you to really think about this. What if you didn't need $1 million to live like a millionaire? Forget the actual number in your bank account for a moment. What if that lifestyle, the freedom, the travel, all the cool experiences, what if you could have all of that right now without the crazy price tag? And this quote from the author Timothy Ferriss just hits the nail on the head. See, it's not about the pile of cash. It's about the life you think that cash gets you. It's all about the lifestyle. So if we're going to figure out how to get that lifestyle, first we've got to understand the trap that so many of us are stuck in. Okay, section 1. The deferr's trap. And this really gets into why the traditional path is so broken. This is what the book calls the deferr's trap. And it's that script we all know, right? Work hard for 40 years, save up, and then maybe you get to enjoy your life at the very end. The whole argument here is that this model, it's completely busted. So who exactly are these deferrers? Well, spoiler alert, it's probably you. It's probably me. It's pretty much anyone following that conventional plan. You trade your best, most energetic years, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, all for this vague promise of freedom way, way down the road in retirement. You're literally putting happiness on hold. You're deferring adventure. You're deferring life. And look, this isn't just theory. The author himself got caught in this exact trap, which is a perfect example of how success can feel more like a prison. He built a business that took his income from, get this, $40,000 a year to over $40,000 a month. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. He was working 14-hour days, 7 days a week. He had all this money, but absolutely zero time and zero freedom to enjoy it. He was the ultimate deferrer, just with a bigger paycheck. And this little comparison here really lays out the huge difference in mindset. Look at this. The deferrer thinks, I want to work for myself. But the new rich, they think, I want to have others work for me. The deferrer's goal is to retire early, way in the future. The new rich want to sprinkle mini retirements all throughout their life, starting now. It's a total shift from I want to buy all the things to I want to do all the things. It's not about just having more stuff. It's about having more quality, more experiences, and way less clutter. So, if being a deferrer is the problem, then what's the solution? Well, that brings us to our next section, Meet the New Rich. These are the folks who've completely thrown out the old rulebook. They're playing a different game, using totally new currencies. And those currencies are time and mobility. Right. So who are the new rich, or NR, as the book calls them? The first thing you got to understand is that they're not defined by how much money they have in the bank. Nope. They are defined by their freedom. Their whole goal is to create these incredible lifestyles right now, not 40 years from now. Their real wealth is measured in those currencies we just mentioned, time and mobility. It's all about having control over what you do, and maybe more importantly, where you do it. And this is such a critical distinction to make. Just being financially rich does not mean you're free. Not at all. You can be completely trapped by your own success, right? Wealthy on paper, but totally poor when it comes to time. The real goal of the new rich isn't just to accumulate money. It's to design a life that gives you the lifestyle, the output of a millionaire, no matter what your actual bank balance says. So, how does this work in practice? Well, think of it like a freedom multiplier. Your money, whatever amount you have, becomes way more valuable depending on how many of these W's you control. We're talking about what you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom you do it. The more of those you control, the more powerful every single dollar you earn becomes. Someone who earns less but has total freedom is, in this new system, actually richer than a high earner who's chained to a desk. Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But the big question is, how do you actually do it? Well, this is where we get into the practical stuff. The book lays out a really clear 4-step process for making it happen. It's a simple acronym, DEAL. And this is basically the blueprint for building this whole new reality. And the whole process is really straightforward. First step, D is for definition. This is all about tearing down your old, self-defeating assumptions and learning the new rules of the game. Then E is for elimination. This one's huge. You basically kill the whole idea of time management. Instead, you get ruthless about focusing only on what's truly important. It's about doing less, but better. Next, A is for automation. This is where you put your cash flow on autopilot. You use technology and outsourcing to build systems that make you money without you having to be there. And finally, L is for liberation. This is the payoff. You break the chains that tie you to one single place and you achieve true mobility. But let's be real for a second. Is this just some fantasy for a handful of lucky people? That's what this final section is all about. And it might be the most important part of this whole idea because it shows you, with real-world examples, that this isn't just a theory. Your life, your reality, it's more negotiable than you think. I mean, the book is just packed with these incredible stories. You've got an Olympic skier who built a global company when he was just a teenager to pay for his training. You have a family of 5 that sailed 15,000 miles around the world for less than it would have cost them to pay rent in Paris. A single mother who designed a mini retirement to move to Florida with her son. The whole point is, these aren't billionaires or trust fund kids. These are regular people who just decided, you know what, I'm going to play by a different set of rules. And that brings us to what might be the single most powerful takeaway from the whole book. Reality is negotiable. Think about that. The 9-to-5 grind, the whole Monday to Friday work week, the idea that you have to wait until you're 65 to live, none of that is a law of nature, like gravity. They are all just man-made rules. And what this means is that you, yes, you, have the power to challenge them, to bend them, and maybe even break them to create a reality that actually works for you. And so we're going to leave you with the same question that the book poses at the end. I mean, really think about it. In a world where the so-called safe path is looking less and less certain for so many people, what's the real risk here? What's the worst that could actually happen if you tried something different? If you just experimented a little with these ideas to take back control of your time and your life? It's a pretty powerful question, isn't it?